Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the JDK HTTP client. So first, three things we are going to discuss here. The first thing is, what is JDK HTTP client, why we are using it, and then practically we'll see how we can use it through creating a Java project. Okay. So before going to discuss about all those things in details, let me try to tell you that this JDK HTTP client was introduced in Java 11 and it is used to call the third-party API. So now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about what is JDK HTTP client and why we are using it, and then later on we'll practically create a Java application and then we'll see the use cases of it through the implementation. So now let me try to go to the next slide, and here you can see what is JDK HTTP client. The JDK HTTP client is a built-in HTTP client library introduced in Java 11 as a part of java.net.htp package. So it was introduced in Java 11 and it is coming under the package java.net.htp. It provides a modern, robust and asynchronous APIs for sending and receiving HTTP requests. So this is the package, or this is the feature of Java 11 that provides sending and receiving the HTTP request and responses over the network. Okay, the JDK HTTP client aims to replace the legacy HTTP URL connection APIs and provides more features and flexibility for handling HTTP communication in Java applications. So you might have heard about the REST template, retrofit, and so many others APIs are there that help us in calling the third-party HTTP request and responses right over the network. The same way it was introduced in Java 11, and it also do the same thing. It helps us in calling the third-party API. That means sending and receiving the HTTP request and responses over the network. Now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss why use JDK HTTP client. So modern API, JDK HTTP clients offers a more modern and intuitive API compared to the legacy HTTP URL connection, making it easier to work with the HTTP request and responses. So like it is a modern version of the HTTP URL connection. Just in this video, we are going to see how this is in function, okay, how we can use it. Okay, now the second point is why we are using the HTTP client is asynchronous support. It supports asynchronous programming, allowing developers to perform HTTP operation non-blockingly, which is crucial for application requiring high concurrency and responsiveness. Okay, so this is another key term why you should use the HTTP client. Now, if we'll come to the third point is performance. JDK HTTP client supports features like HTTP2, multiplexing, and WebSocket, which can significantly improve performance and reduce latency compared to the traditional HTTP clients. The fourth point is security. It provides built-in support for the secure communication protocols like TLS, ensuring that HTTP requests and responses are transmitted securely over the network. Okay, the fifth point is standardization. Being part of the Java development kit, JDK HTTP client offers a standardized and reliable solution for performing HTTP operation in Java applications. Okay, ensuring compatibility and interoperability across different platforms and environments. So these are the main features why you should use the HTTP client. Now, if we'll go to the next slide, how to use it, we are going to discuss through the practical implementation. So let me try to come out of this slide and go to the IntelliJ, create one Java application, and practically we'll see how we can use it. So let me try to come out of it, and if we'll go to the IntelliJ, and here I already have opened one project. Let me try to open a new project, like go to the file new and create a project here. Let's say here you can see this, we are not going to create a Spring Boot application here. We are just going to create a simple Java application. So just let me try to give the name here. Let's say JDK HTTP client demo. And if we'll create it, just open it in a new tab and wait for a few seconds. So let me try to close the first one and then see. Close it out, and if you want to load the Maven, load it. I don't think the Maven is required here, so don't worry on it. So I think we are good. So we can run our application. Let me try to run it and then see if it is working or not. So it is taking few seconds. You can see that we are getting the hello world. So our application is working fine. Now we can start our development here. Okay. So let me try to create a separate class here, and let's say create a package first, JDK HTTP client, and here let me try to create one class called HTTP client demo. Okay. Now we'll see how we can use the HTTP client to call the third-party API. So before going to do that, let me try to go to the browser, and if you'll go to this JSON placeholder, this is a website where we can find free APIs. Okay, so go to the placeholder, and if you'll go there, if you'll go down, you will find a lot of APIs are free here. So you can see this. We can access this post API or comment, album, photos, to-dos, and users. So any of these APIs you can pick, and you can try to integrate it or try to call these APIs, which are the free and open source APIs, in your application through the HTTP client. So if you'll go to this post API, you can see this is the API for that, and you will see the response here. It is containing the list of I would say post, like user ID. The post contains user ID, title, and the body, and we have the list of this. So just copy this and copy this URL and just come to your application. Let me try to create one variable here called base URL and then see. So just let's say private static base URL. Let me try to put that URL here. Okay, now let me try to auto-wire the HTTP client in this class. So either you can auto-wire it, or you can do one thing, like we are not using the, what I would say, Spring Boot application. So I don't think it will work here. So what you can do is, you can, through the constructor instruction, what you can do, you can auto-wire your HTTP client here. So let me try to create the variable called HTTP client first. So let's say private HTTP client. Make sure that this HTTP client is coming from the java.net.http. Okay, so just HTTP client. Now let me try to create one constructor. So HTTP client demo, and there will invoke this HTTP client. Okay, so let's say HTTP client equal to new HTTP client dot new HTTP client. Okay, so if we'll go to this class HTTP client, this is a abstract class, you will find this protected method HTTP client is there, and then we have this new HTTP client which is returning a HTTP client out of it. So that is why we are calling this one. Through the builder, you can also create this object of this HTTP client, but yeah, let me try to use this new HTTP client method as of now. So come here to this HTTP client demo, and we are good now. So what we did, we invoked this HTTP client. Okay, now we are good. Let me try to align this. And now we are going to create a method that is going to call this post API, JSON placeholder post API, through the HTTP client. Okay, and will return it. So let me try to do that. So let's say the method name is let's say the method type is modifier is public, and let's say it is returning the string, and let's say we are going to name this method as a get all post. And now what we can do with the help of HTTP client, we can send the request to this base URL. So if you'll go to this send method of the HTTP client, you will find what it requires. So you can see that it requires this HTTP request and HTTP response. Okay, so both of the things you have to pass here. So before going to call this HTTP send method, make sure you create a HTTP request here. So let's say HTTP request. We are going to create a HTTP request here. So request equal to HTTP request dot new builder. Sorry, it would be, let me try to align this. So HTTP request dot new builder, and then here we have to provide the URI and the method that you are going to call, and we have to build it out, right? So let me try to provide the URL here. So you can see this method which is URI. So just call this method, and inside that you can put your base URL. So let me try to put it out. So it is giving us the error. Let me try to go inside this URI method and then see. So this URI method is expecting a URI, not a string, right? So what we can do is we can create a URI and then pass this string inside that. So just call this URI.create method, and inside that you can pass your base URL, which is a string, and that will work. Now let me try to call a method type here. So if you'll go to this browser, and if you'll come out of it, you will see that this one is this is a simple get method. Okay, so that is why when you are clicking it out here, we are not sending any payload and all. We are simply getting the response here, right? So this is a get method, and that is what we have to call here inside this our HTTP request. We have to provide that which method we are going to call here. Okay, so this is a get method. So just provide get here, and then simply you can do a build. So let me try to come out of it, and we are good now. So what we did, we have created the HTTP request. Now we have to pass this HTTP request to the send method. Okay, so just pass it out, and then we have to pass the response as well. So the response would be something like HTTP response dot handler, body handler, and we have to pass the class that you are expecting out of it. So we are expecting, as of now, you can see these are the classes you can expect out of your API call. So you can expect off string, and if you'll go to this off byte array, and also we are just going to expect, as of now, like off string. So we wanted our response to be of string type. Okay, now let me try to create a variable response and catch the response that we are getting out of this call. So just create this HTTP response. Let's say it is of string type, and let's say it is response here. Okay, now we are getting some error. Let me try to see why we are getting it. So we have to handle this exception here. So just add it, and we are good. Now we have to return from this method, right? We have to return something from this method, which is of a string type. So now go to the response and then get body, or you can say body, and then simply return it. So we are good now. So we have created this method. Let me try to explain you the whole flow. So if you'll come here, we have noted down our base URL or the third party URL that we are going to call. If you want to keep it here, or you can move it to the application.properties file later on. Now we are good. We have the base URL that we are going to call. We have created the instance of the HTTP client we have invoked the constructor here, and then what we are doing, we are creating one method which is calling the third party URL, and just we are expecting something from it of a string type and then returning it out. So this is the whole method. Now let me try to go to the main and try to call this method and try to simply print the things that we are getting out of the method call. So just let me try to comment out this one and just create a object of the HTTP client demo, and just why we are getting this. Okay, we will go there. Okay, so the constructor was not public, that is why we are not getting it out. Let me try to keep it here. Now we'll go there to the main. We have created one object here. Now just call the method which is get all post, and let me try to see what is there. We have to handle this exception, so just let me try to do that. So we are expecting the result here. So the result would be of a string type, right? So let me try to create one string variable, let's say response, and just let me try to print out this response here. So just let's say response. Now I will run this, and then you will get the result what we are getting from the API call. So just let me try to run this method, and then see the result. So if you'll see here in the console, we are getting the result here, right? We are getting the list of posts. So you can see that we are getting the list of posts here. So this is how you can use JDK HTTP client to call the third party API. Here I am just covering one API call which is of get type, which is a very simple one. But if you want me to cover all those like get, post, put and delete, let me try to know. I will cover everything in a separate video. And here we are just expecting a result out of a string, right, from this method. But what we can do, we can also convert it to the JSON type, right? How we are getting here in the response, because we are printing it out, we are getting the things, but you can see that the response is actual responses of the JSON type, the key value pair, right? So you can also do through the JSON or through object mapping. Okay, so that is also we can cover. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.